Okay, so hi, or so this is probably my first time casting a games. So today I gonna review reverse 19999 all the 6 star from patch 1.0 to 1.9. Since I have all the 6 star in the game, I basically have all the character in the game. So I
Sorry.
guess
Did I wake you?
I just
I was on my way to the
take
garden.
my
Or should I say the...
time or reviewing or some of the character so that you know what the character does better, or this is wholly my opinion, so it depends on which character you like. So since I don't have much time, I gotta do only 6 star first. So let's start with minerals. So mineral have exactly six star. So that is Calabauna. So black dwarf you can call her. Then there is Jill Ningxi, which she's a limited 6 star character. Then there is some Semelvis. I think that's how her name's pronounced. So she's a free 6 star character during anniversary. And there's Pickles, best boy. And there is Miss New Babel, and there's Eternity. So I just keep summary for each one of them, like who does what. So first is Calabona. So for me, she is just a DPS. Like she doesn't bring any other utility aside from her damage. So basically, this skill, she does mass attack. Then this one, she just does a single damage or she just does a single damage. Then her ultimate, or basically she does a one target attack, and or as you can see, all of her incantation are all about damage. And she have a mechanic of planets, which basically if you have different colors of the globes, if you have her, like you will understand, like different color of the globes which float around her give different effects. So basically that, like a Saturn give a penetration rate and Mars give leash rate. So basically she just a DPS, like apart from that she doesn't do anything more. So yeah, so she is not as valuable as some of the other unit. Our next is our Jill Ningxi. She's a limited character. She is in a weird position because like her damage is really high. I feel like her single damage is actually very high if you compare to most of the character. However, like there's a better unit during the anniversary, so I feel like she pretty much fall off. But like I feel like the problem with her is she need her psyche. I think that is what it's called. She need her this, and it basically it need time for her to stack her damage over time. So the longer the run go, the higher is her damage. And like her tipsy state is basically a follow-up attack. It also depend on your luck, like it trigger 1 2 or 3 times. She basically another just DPS unit. So if there are better DPS than her, then she just fall off. So she pretty much the same position as Calabona, just that she's much better. So next is Samuel West. Samuel West. So for me, I never use her for some reason, but from my friend I heard she is pretty good support unit. But since I never use her, I don't want to give my opinion because I don't know how she work. but since she's a support, I think she's in better position than the first two mirror DPS unit because she can be used elsewhere and probably in a lots of different team. So if you know about her, you can comment about her. Next is Pickles. Pickles is in a very stable position because even though he's also focused on DPS and like all of his incantation just deal damage, but I feel like Pickles is a good sub DPS because like he gain Moxie if he doesn't, or if he trigger this state, he gain extra Moxie, and this state can receive when he doesn't take any action. And as well as Pickles also have Dispel in this incantation in rank 2. He have Dispel, so like in some stages or some enemies have like invincibility or like some buff or other stuff like Taunt. So I think Pickles is very good in that kind of state, and like he's not like the best unit, but I found him to be more flexible than DPS unit because he deal damage as well as he provide utility to the team. And our next is Miss New Bubble. So many people say she's bad, but for me I found she's really good character for some reason. Like or she give a buff which is best, which provide shield, and her ult give a taunt. Like she doesn't bring much to the table, but like she does something. Like if you lack healer and if you feel like or you don't have enough sustain, you can just put Miss New Bubble just for her shield. Like at least she got some usage for her kit. Like her ultimate basically taunt, so basically you are safe for one turn, like or everyone will attack her. So that's like even though her damage is underwhelming, but she can be used. And I think people need to recognize her more. And but like in some states like UTTU, I found her to be really good because like with all the buff, she hit really hard. And the last one is Eternity. She is a queen of solo for a good reason. Basically she deals a lot of damage as well as she does provide some utility. Like in some stage the enemies tend to heal, she have a nasty wound which she can inflict it on the enemy, which can decrease the healing, as well as she can heal herself. So like or if she is the last person standing in your team, or normally the incantation come a lot and you rank up fast, that means you gain a frequent ultimate, and because of that she can solo sustain herself. She can be like, if you don't know who to pick as your fourth pick, just pick her in case all of your team dies. She will help you. Okay, that's all for 6-star mineral. So next let's go to star. So star have okay star, yeah, star. So star have 7 6-star character. Oh yeah, and I have all the 6-star at inside tree. Yeah, so all of them are inside tree. So okay, so first for star. So star is in a very good state, I think, because most of the characters are really good. First is Tooth Fairy. I use her a lot because she is one of the few healer in the game. So basically she heals hard and she provide auto utility like this confusion, and as well as her passive is pretty nice because she give debuff every turn without using any slot of your casting, and her ultimate just purify all the debuff. So that is basically it. Like she just good overall. Okay, next is Winsong. So I found Winsong to be a really broken kind of character. Like even though she just does DPS, DPS, and DPS, like all she does is damage, but like her damage is just insane. Or like in Limbo, where you need or where you have to win before 12 turn. Just give Winsong 12 turn, and last turn she will kill everyone like in one turn. That's just how she work. Like she's the best character for raid I think, like all the boss. Yeah, so she just really good DPS. Like I even say she's better than Lucy, like in a certain situation. Okay, not Charlie. Okay, next is Voyager. I somehow have her portrait too. So Voyager is in a very weird position. Like she have counter which inflict 100% of her damage. So or in some state, like the enemies or the enemy hit harder if you doesn't have a counter state on your team. So you can just pick her. Like she just does a mass counter buff to the all of your team, and she have a confusion, which like if you have to pick like a confusion unit, like 100% time like you're gonna pick Tooth Fairy, which give the same thing, or you just use Winsong, which she does the same thing, and she does it herself and better than Voyager does. But the good thing about Voyager is her out minus Moxie, as well as she can silence the enemy with her passive. Like sometimes it come like in handy, like sometimes it just work. But most of the time I won't be picking her over some of the character. But there's some state I just pick her because like or this counter reflect count as Genesis damage. So sometime in Genesis damage favor battle, you just pick her. Okay, so next is Regulus. So I found Regulus to be really good, like really good, because okay, apart from this skill which she only deal damage, this one she can reduce or the moxie of the enemies by 1 at rank 2 when she crit. And if you build her properly and your team properly, she crit often, because you won't let her move every turn, which means she gonna have a restless heart, and she gain a 50% critical rate, which means she likely to reduce the moxie of the enemies, which most of the time are really good. Like if you can cycle or regular skill often, you can forever lock your enemies out of ultimate. That's how good she is, and her ultimate is most of the time are very complex to use, but if you know when to use them, it really great. Like if your team is going to die and you just use our regular ultimate, you will survive for 1 turn, and it's like you get 1 extra turn to kill the enemies when you can't. And I feel like it's really good. Like Regulus is really good. Okay, so next is Ezra. So Ezra, I found Ezra to be like really good in our Genesis damage favor battles. Like he is probably one of the best to pick as a team for Genesis damage, because he provide a shield and as well as he provide a debuff, and his mushroom bring a lot of utility. So basically he have 2 kind of mushroom. So one mushroom give this critical damage, and another mushroom give our enemies or damage taken reduction minus 25%. So he is in a very good state. Like or he add his passive from inside, he can also give Eureka. Like some of the character benefit from Eureka, and his ultimate just basically give 1 Moxie, 1 Eureka, and pop off all of his mushroom. Like he just make them grow. Like, or if you don't know who to put in fourth spot on your team, just put Ezra. Like, he won't be disappointing. He will provide something to your team. Or okay, next is 37. Yeah, 37. The favorite child of the blue part. So I found 37 to be in really weird position. Like first and second incantation, basically just DPS. And this one is basically buff. But like I found most of the time, if you're not going to play her as a main DPS, it's so rare for you to get her ultimate. Like most of the time, you just bring her because she gains Eureka for every extra single action, and she does a follow up damage. That's it. Like you just pick her in a follow up team, hoping she's a sub DPS, and she deals Genesis damage, which is true damage, which is very heavy damage. But like most of the time, I would be picking other unit than her for a better buff than just a follow-up damage from her. Okay, the as you can see, Resonant one, I rarely use her. She is like Calabona, just DPS, DPS, and DPS, and that's it. Like, if you have Winsong or like 37, I would pick 37 as a better DPS than her. She certainly need a buff, and she got a buff in Chinese 2.3 patch, if I remember correct. Okay, so next we go to plant. Plants we have seven 6-star character. First is Villa. Villa is very good. So this one she heal one allies. Then this one she buff, and her buff is quite insane, especially if your main or DPS is mental damage dealer, which is like Markers or Winsong. Like it's very good, and her ultimate is very important. Like the main point of Winsong is you need to cycle her to get ultimate as fast as possible, because her ultimate provide a big utility to the team. First thing is she heal every turn. This skill heal everyone, and this give a better buff to your allies. So like it's really good, because like without her ultimate state, or your team die so fast, because Winsong is not that good of a healer without her ultimate form. Yeah, so that is Winsong. Like if you have to pull for Tooth Fairy or Winsong, it truly depends on like how you play style. If you love playing auto battle like me, like you just auto everything, then better pick Tooth Fairy. Like she's much better in auto battle. Winsong is like more brain dead battle. Next is Marcus. Marcus is another DPS character, but the only good thing about her is she does very good DPS. Her rank up is insane. Like she just get like rank 3, like just like snap your finger and she get the rank 3. She just hit very hard. That's all. Like she hit hard. She does in what she is good at. And another good thing is she's very good against mass amount of like many enemies, because her ultimate deal mass damage, and this one deals 2 damage. So basically she kills everyone fast. Or like compared to Winsong, who just does like single target damage, or she does it better if the enemy is in mass, like a lots of enemies. She is really good in that kind of situation. Okay, so next Jessica. Jessica is a sad one. Jessica is another DPS. The only good thing is, she provide a poison. Yeah, she provide a poison. I found her to be SOTB support rather than she being a DPS. She is being a support for SOTB because her passive just provide the enemy's poison, which work with SOTB ultimate, which just kill everyone using poison. Yeah, I would not pick her over Marcus in like, except if it favor reality damage plant's character, which I would still be picking Genesis damage like 37 over her. Next is Kakanya. I say the best character in most of the content because she just tank and she does very good damage. Like in most of the situation, you cannot control how the enemies like and the boss will act, so she just take all the damage to herself. The problem is if you doesn't have a good healer with her, she can die pretty fast if you don't have her portrait too, which I don't have. Other than that, she provide a really good extra Genesis damage, and like she just overall good. Like she can heal herself as well, just buff herself and she heals. Yeah, I feel like she's in a really good spot. Like can be put in any team as well. Like she's not restricted to one team. Her this empathy or extra damage calculation thing can be used in all DPS. Like it's just good. Like Lucy, Winsong, everyone just need her. Okay, next is Ann Lee. Ann Lee, good buff. She rank up pretty fast, so her days is actually useful in some of the content, and she also gain ultimate fast for like some reason. I don't know. Like when I just play her, she can ultimate pretty fast. Like if you doesn't have a support for Marcus, like if you don't have a dedicated support for Marcus, NND can be one of the support for Marcus. Like she just does everything okay. That's it. Next is Sotebi. I found Sotebi to be in very weird position in of the game. Her heal is very bad. Like you should not use her for healing because it's so unreliable. Like you might die because she's a healer, but her poison is very reliable. She just give a lot of poison. Your team give a lot of poison, use her ultimate, and everything just die. She is not a support. She is a DPS. You see, it said DPS, so she is a DPS, a poison main DPS. Like in any poison team, you need to have Sotebi. And next is our Druid 3. People say she's not good, but for me, she's one of the best character to use because her passive is just her doing nothing but provide utility to the team. Basically, if you don't know who to put, just put Druid to your plant team. She will do something because of, see, she give our heal damage and leech rate, like just good. And her petrify, if it's not a big boss and if it is like a normal human boss, she's just too strong. Like you keep petrifying every turn and enemy cannot do anything and you just win just like that. Like you just need to have enough damage to win or at a specific round and enemy will never get to move. Like or if you play like Limbo, where the enemy is like 37 or 6 or any character enemies, just petrify them. Like you will win for sure with Druvis. She's just that good. So next we're going to Beast. So yeah, we're gonna finish it fast because I don't have much time. Beast have 6 star character. First, Spartodia. Spartodia is basically DPS, DPS, DPS. She just does DPS, which she herself is not a good DPS. She need a dedicated support for DPS. I found her to be like, this buff is really good. Like you need to buff her every turn, and better the rank, better it is. Like I prefer pairing her with 6 because 6 when his Eureka is full, his buff gives allies or incantation rank +1, which is very good for this buff, and this buff make her deals heavy damage, and as well as her ultimate is very unreliable. Like you need a burn support for her to dish an insane amount of damage, but she is really good in what she does, and burn damage sometimes can come in handy. Next is Melania. I found Melania to be very good. Like she is not just a DPS, she is a utility unit. Like her Moxie skill is very good. Like she rotates her ultimate pretty fast, which means she gain Moxie skill very fast because her ultimate give Thief Master stack, which means it just like +1 incantation rank of this, which you can Moxie skill very fast. Her overall skill basically just lock enemy out of using ultimate. Like is more reliable than like Seal from I don't know how to pronounce her name. Yeah, is much more reliable than like B Corn Boom or ultimate. Like she sealed the ultimate. Like I feel like Melania just does sealing the ultimate of the enemy better by not giving them the last Moxie for the ultimate, and she can heal herself, which means she have a good self-sustain as well. And as the longer the state of the game goes, she hit harder, like really hard. Like in UTTU, she is probably one of the best DPS. Like if you just have like Lucy or Winsong, she probably the third one. Now next is Centurion. Centurion hit really hard if you have a full Moxie because she scaled with Moxie, and this skill give her Moxie pretty fast, and this one is just a mass ultimate. Like she just DPS, but since her ultimate does a mass attack with this Psycube, this one or her second life, she can solo sustain herself. Like sometimes you just win with her, like somehow she just win because she hit hard on her own, and she cycled her ultimate pretty fast for her to get a heal from this amplification ability. Oh no, or from this psychic or skill. Next is Gitian. Gitian is a support, or you can say a debuffer or whatever. He does really good in reality team. Just put her as like your top 3 reality or buffer along with Iso, because his array just provide overall better damage for the team, as well as his this bone reading state is overall good, and as well as he does some extra action which does hit heavy in some content. He just like if you don't know, if you are building reality team, you just put Gitian, it should be fine. Okay, next is Shamene, or whatever you want to call him, or he is in a very weak position. Like his debuff is very weak compared to most of the dedicated debuffer, which I found like the only good thing is you can put him in reality or mental team because he just debuff both. Like, yeah, and he cycle his ultimate pretty fast, which means he can with this cycle he can be a semi healer. Like sometimes if you don't want to have any sustain and like your best sustain is to kill the enemy fast, then you can pick him. Like he's really good in doing like mini heal using this cycle and his mass ultimate. Or and next is medicine pocket. I feel like his heals less. His debuff though is pretty good. I feel like his debuff is pretty good. Like you can see that you're hitting harder after using him as a debuffer, and his days sometimes come in handy. But like I would not pick him if I have Tooth Fairy or Villa. Like I'm so sorry. Like I used to use him a lot. Then after I got Tooth Fairy and Villa, I never used him again. But I still like him a lot. Okay, next spirit. 2 character. Isol. Hit very hard, debuff very hard. She does everything you need. Like best reality debuffer. She just debuff, crit and like crit defense and reality defense. She provide burn as well. Like she is the best pair for Spatodia. That's like just you can just see. And her ultimate, she deal a heavy extra action attack, which is really good. And it also provide all the allies this are intermezzo, of which like you just deal heavy damage. That basically what it translated. Like or she just good. But like or she's the best in reality team, but like sometimes you can put in mental team. She doesn't work that well, but she work. Okay, Unknight. Yes, Unknight. DPS. DPS and DPS. The only good thing about the Unknight is he is a mass DPS, and as I told you, a mass DPS. And with this skill, if there's like many enemies which you can kill, he gain ultimate pretty fast, which means he can solo sustain with this Psych Cube, and sometimes it comes in handy. Just like Centurion, Shaman, and a Knight. All 3 of them does the same thing as a mini healer. If you don't want any sustain, and if you have this Psych Cube, and you can rotate their ultimate fast enough, there can be a mini sustain, which sometimes you prefer over a real sustain. In like if you want to finish the run fast, rather than prolonging the run and try to like be defensive. Okay, last are intelligence. So intelligence also have 2. So basically Lucy is Lucy, like DPS, but very heavy DPS. Especially she is one of the best. No, she is the best mass attacker in the game, I think, because her follow-up attack does heavy mass attack, as well as her this state, it ignore elemental like difference. Like she can crit on anything. That's basically what she does. And if you kill someone, she just follow up and follow up, like pretty insane, as expected from the second limited character of the game. And like she's really good. But like or if you compare to Winsong, I feel like if you have a 12 turn or state, Lucy will finish faster than Winsong, but they both will clear it. But if you have a boss state, Lucy will suffer with the higher like level boss, but Winsong will crush everything on the last turn. So she doesn't have to face like all the boss like high damage, high skill on their later form after like they dies and revives like many times. So yeah, that I still prefer Winsong over Lucy in most of the situation. Oh, the only thing good about another thing good about Lucy is she is very auto friendly. Like I prefer if I'm not playing manually, I just pick Lucy and like Tooth Fairy. Like I pick Tooth Fairy and Lucy, and I just close my eyes and everything will be fine on auto mode. Okay, next is 6 best support, I think, because his dispel or purify is very consistent. Like Tooth Fairy and Villa, both of them are they purify only with the ultimate, but 6 he purify with just his incantation. It's like very reliable. Like when you facing like the freeze boss or any kind of daze seal or like disarm or something, he just insane. Like he's very good. He provide a consistent debuff as well as he hit very hard. Like you can build him as a DPS and he won't disappoint you. So yeah, so I guess that's all overall for the all the 6-star character review as of 1.9. Yeah, so thank you for listening, or see you again. Bye bye.